My beloved child, do you hear me? My call is still touching those corners of your heart that you keep trying to avoid. You think that silence is a safe place, but in truth, you do not see the dangers quietly weaving themselves around you. Sometimes the door I once opened for you has long since closed, and yet I still knock, because I know that if you would pause for just a single heartbeat, everything could still be rescued. There are moments in history when humanity becomes so accustomed to living in darkness that it begins to mistake it for normal, while the light itself starts to feel distant and strange. But I call you the one who still carries a small remaining ember to rise up, not because you are strong, but because the darkness is stronger than it has ever been. And if you will listen, you will understand. The light I send is not meant to decorate your soul, but to help you see the things others refuse to face. Just as when I called Samuel in the night at a time when my people had grown familiar with silence, when the priests slept through their calling, and my word was so rare that people considered it a luxury. I did not call those who were full of experience. I called the child lying in the darkness of the temple, because only he still carried a heart that knew how to listen. So it is with you. Not because you are perfect, but because you have not yet lost the hearing of your soul. Look around you and try to admit this one thing. The world has not fallen into darkness only because of great evils, but because people have grown comfortable with what is allowed, even when they know it has strayed from my will. Half-truths, small compromises, gentle little lies, all of them knit together into a black veil spread over the human heart. Darkness rarely arrives with a roar. It comes with a soft agreement, light, smooth, pleasing, and easy to accept. And then you see it, the very things that were meant to retain their purity begin to bend. The first values I placed at the foundation have been reshaped to fit human ambition. No one tears down the light with a hammer. They simply tilt it a little, so that shadows are allowed to grow without startling anyone. The most dangerous thing is not obvious sin, but distortion that has been legitimized. I do not speak these things to frighten you, but to awaken you. In this age, those who carry the light cannot remain still. You are called not to run away from the chaos, but to recognize that you have been placed right at the heart of a battle where what I give can no longer be seen with ordinary eyes. And from now on, you need to see clearly the dark reality unfolding before you. You must understand this. The world does not collapse in a single tragic moment. It fractures through countless small choices, seemingly harmless decisions that always lean toward what is easy. People want to keep the appearance of goodness while choosing only what is convenient for themselves, and so the purity I established is worn away little by little. A small compromise today becomes a great crack tomorrow, especially when standards are adjusted to match desire rather than my will. The consequences do not stay on paper. The earth sighs, families fall apart, society descends into confusion, and souls become exhausted without knowing why. And remember this: judgment is not a threat I wield to force you into obedience. It is the natural outcome when darkness is nourished for too long without being brought into the light. This world is moving ever closer to the harvest of what it has sown, and you need to see that clearly so you are not swept into its spiral. My child, there are things that seem small, yet have the power to make the human heart grow callous. I see how people have become accustomed to letting darkness slip into their habits, their thoughts, their everyday choices without a flicker of unease. They no longer recognize the moment they lost their purity, because everything happened so gently, so quietly, like footsteps that never meant to leave a trace. And I look at you, the one who still feels a faint uneasiness before what is twisted. I know that is the light within you speaking, but that light will dim if you too grow used to the world's blur and vagueness. I do not shout at you, but I long for your heart not to be lulled to sleep, because when truth is hidden for too long, you will easily begin to see darkness as something normal. Let me speak this plainly to you. Darkness does not begin with a storm, it begins with choices that seem harmless. When people choose convenience over what is right, comfort over truth, each pure way of thinking is slowly bent without their noticing. The values I placed in the human heart from the beginning were straight and true, but as time goes on, people keep trimming and reshaping them to suit their own desires. I do not condemn you for this, for I know human weakness, yet I am grieved when that weakness is nurtured instead of healed. And then, when what is wrong is dressed in a cloak of reasonableness, people easily think they are doing fine, even while their souls are thirstier for what is real than ever before. My beloved child, do not think that I am accusing humanity. I am gently shaking you so that you do not slide along the same fracture line that the world now calls normal. I long for you to return to what is true within yourself, to that place where you once knew how to distinguish the light I planted in your heart. When you return, it is not to flee from the world, but so that your eyes may become clearer within it. For if you still long for what is pure, it means the flame in you has never gone out. Let me walk with you and allow that light to grow stronger, decision by honest decision. No return is ever too late. There are only hearts that have forgotten they were created to walk in truth. Today, as you look at the fractures around you, from families to society to the very soul of humankind, I want you to understand that you are not standing outside of all this. Your heaviness of heart is not a sign of weakness. It reveals that you are more sensitive to truth than many others. I am not placing extra burdens on your shoulders. I am helping you recognize that the light within you is still at work, no matter how dark the world becomes. When you see what is pure being bent, that itself is a reminder for you to hold tightly to what is upright within yourself. And I am here to protect that light from being worn down by things that seem harmless, yet slowly destroy your soul. You are not alone in this quiet battle. I am walking right behind you, supporting each step, each thought, each trembling of your heart that you thought no one else could feel. And as you begin to see this bleak reality more clearly, you will realize that darkness does not come only from obviously twisted things, but also from what seems good on the surface. There are gentle words that quietly lead you off course. There are people who appear to walk alongside you, yet guide you away from truth. I want your eyes to be bright enough that you are not deceived by outward goodwill, because not everything warm and inviting comes from the light. In the very moment you recognize that purity has been bent, you will start to see the masks of this age, the things that call to you but do not belong to me. And that awareness will lead you deeper into the awakening I desire for you, so that you do not merely notice darkness, but also understand how it hides beneath what seems most harmless. Let me lead you a little further, because once you have seen how purity is distorted, you will soon touch another, far subtler truth, those things that carry no threatening appearance, yet slowly draw you away from the light. I say this in a whisper, not to frighten you, but so that you understand. Wisdom is not reserved for the strong, it is given to those who are willing to blossom it. Listen, and I see within you a space that still needs to be illuminated, so that you do not become a victim of soothing but distorted invitations. You know, sometimes the most dangerous thing is not the loud roar, but the excessive gentleness of certain calls. People may come to you with friendly manners and sympathetic words, yet all the while be leading you in a direction that is not my will. I'm not asking you to distrust everyone, but I do want you to learn how to sense which love is born of the light and which is only a glossy coating of pretense. For the one who wants you to lose your way never appears in a frightening form. It often borrows the very face you are most inclined to trust. I have seen too many good hearts pulled off center simply because they thought, this seems fine, and I do not want that to happen to you. I know you crave a place to lean on, a person to call a companion, a community where you feel you belong. but there are arms that do not truly embrace you. They only wish to keep you within their control. There are gazes that seem to lift you up, yet quietly push you farther from me. Let your heart grow calm whenever something seems too beautiful, too convenient, too easy to agree with. What comes from the light always carries a deep, quiet peace, even when it requires sacrifice. What comes from darkness often feels pleasant at first, but leaves behind an emptiness you cannot name. I teach you discernment not so that you become suspicious, but so that you can protect yourself from hands that do not belong to me. There are times when you think you are strong, that you are clear-sighted enough to know who is genuine and who is not. But my child, even the wisest can be deceived by the very kindness they did not suspect was false. That is why I encourage you not to lean on your own understanding, but to let me guard you through every decision, even the smallest step. When a person, an opportunity, or a goal requires you to bend your own standards, step back for a moment and ask me. I always answer, though at times you are not yet used to hearing me. And that very act of stepping back will keep you from being drawn into relationships that seem to offer love, but actually imprison you in things that stand against the light. There will come a time when you look closely at the relationships around you and realize, not everyone who walks beside you desires for you to move toward truth. Some merely want you to follow them. Some want you to turn away from the path I have prepared. Some simply want you to remain vague and confused so they can more easily manipulate your soul. I know this realization weighs heavily on you, but it is precisely this awareness that will help you stand firm amid sweet-sounding invitations. Do not be afraid when what you thought were allies turn out not to belong to the light that is not failure, but the very awakening I want for you. And once your eyes have grown accustomed to this discernment, you will see more clearly how darkness operates in silence, and you will be prepared to enter a subtler battle in which the enemy does not only speak with words, but also whispers into the places where you are most easily wounded. My beloved child, now that you have seen these subtle masks and hidden paths that so easily lead you astray, I know a very real question has begun to rise within you. Why do I have to witness all of this? I understand, because not everyone carries such a sharp awareness of the darkness moving through the world. Some live peacefully, hardly noticing. But you, each time you look, you see more, deeper, heavier. At times it makes you tired, even feeling out of place among those who have long since learned to live without examining anything. Yet this very sense of being different is a sign that you were not placed in this time by accident. I do not let you see these things so that you will be afraid. I let you see so that you may know you have been chosen for a role that not everyone is able to bear. Sometimes you ask yourself, why can't I be as at peace as they are? Why do I have to carry this way of seeing so that my heart is always heavy? My child, those questions do not make you weak. On the contrary, they show that your soul is moving to a different rhythm, the rhythm I planted in you from the depths. I did not choose you to stand in an ivory tower, safe from all chaos. I placed you in the midst of this dark current so that you would become living proof that light is still alive. When you feel out of sync with the world, it is not because you are lacking, but because you are being lifted out of the common standards of an age that has lost its way. Sometimes loneliness is a sign that you are walking rightly, not straying, and I am walking alongside you, even when you cannot see me. Many times, I know you are afraid you will not be able to bear it. Afraid that the things you see will make you want to leave everything behind, to shut your heart so it will not hurt anymore. But remember this, I do not throw you into the middle of a storm and then stand at a distance to watch. I am right there, in every gust of wind, in every broken breath of yours, in every moment you feel so small before something far too great. Your weariness does not push me away from you, it draws me closer. I want you to understand that you are not a sacrifice. You are a witness, someone I trust to see what is true, when the whole world chooses to look at what is comfortable. You are stronger than you think, not because of your own willpower, but because I am sustaining you in depths you have not yet recognized. There are nights when you toss and turn and your heart asks, "Can I really do this? Am I enough?" You do not know that in the very moment you question yourself, your heart is open to me the most. I do not demand that you be perfect, or that you appear brave all the time. I only want you to keep choosing the light, even when that light seems as small as a spark about to go out. You were placed in the heart of the whirlwind not to prove your own strength, but so that you might see that true strength comes from leaning on me. And every time you choose to stand on the side of the light, even in a single small action, you are pushing the darkness back more than you realize. I see it all, and I hold each of those choices close to my heart. The time will come when you realize that seeing more than others is not a curse, but a trust that has been given to you. When I open your eyes, it means I am also entrusting you with a work that is not loud, not glamorous, but has the power to change the destiny of many souls you will never know. You are not called to retreat, nor invited to blend into the crowd. You are called to stand firm, to guard the truth, to become the place others look to when they can no longer see the way. And precisely when you accept that you have been placed in this chaos for a purpose, you will sense something deep within your soul begin to shine. A peace that does not come because everything is easy, but because you know you are walking in the right direction, a path that draws you into a more subtle battle, where darkness does not only show itself, but also seeks to whisper into the weak places within you. My child, as you grow more accustomed to standing at the very center of turmoil, you will soon begin to feel another kind of movement, quieter, more delicate, like a cold wind slipping through the cracks in your heart. It is not because you are weak, but because the light within you is becoming clearer, drawing the attention of the darkness more intensely. I want you to understand that the challenges that start to come are not there to make you fall, but because you have stepped into a realm where darkness does not want you to set foot. And the moment it recognizes your steadfastness, it will begin to whisper in ways only souls sensitive to the light can perceive. But do not be afraid. I know every one of those attacks, and I have prepared you for them long before you became aware of them. At times, that whisper does not come in the obvious form of sin. It may come dressed as praise, as an unexpected opportunity, as a feeling that you deserve more. It is very subtle, my child, so subtle that people often mistake it for a natural reward after all they have endured. But I see the danger hidden beneath that glow, because darkness always loves to strike at the softest place in you, your need to be acknowledged, to be loved, to feel that you matter. It does not push you over with brute force. It only needs to make you sway just a little, so that you yourself step out of the light without even noticing. I tell you this not to make you suspicious of every joy, but so that you learn to discern what is a gift from me and what is only a trap wrapped in comfort. I know there are moments when you are so tired you just want to let go just a little, only a little, so you no longer have to try so hard to keep your heart straight. Because loneliness, discouragement, and unanswered questions can become fertile soil where whispers slip in. But my child, do not let those fleeting moments of weakness become a wide open door for darkness. Remember, you are not fighting by your own strength. I have given you the armor of truth, so you will not be crushed by sweet-sounding lies. I have given you righteousness to keep your heart from going astray. I have placed in your hand the shield of faith to stop the invisible arrows flying from places you never suspected. And I have set my word in your heart like a sword, sharp enough that the moment you raise it, what is false is exposed. You are not standing naked on this battlefield. On the contrary, you are far more equipped than you think. Yet you must also keep watch over your own heart, because not every attack comes from outside. There are passing thoughts no more than a shadow that can open the way for bitterness to creep in. There are moments when you compare yourself to others, and a faint flame of pride is kindled that seems harmless to you. There are times when you doubt my love for you, and darkness seizes that opportunity to magnify everything. I do not condemn you when such things appear. I only want you to know that they do not belong to you. As long as you keep your heart soft before me, the cracks will be filled, and darkness will have nowhere to cling. The more awake you are, the more clearly you will see that the deepest battle is not out there, but within the quiet movements of your own heart. And then, in the midst of all these collisions, you will begin to understand why I had to prepare you so early. Because the journey ahead is not only about facing darkness from the outside, but also about recognizing every breath of it so you will not be deceived. You will sense more keenly that this battle is not a noisy one, but a long, steady testing of your faithfulness. And when you have seen through those whispers, when you know how to stand firm no matter how darkness changes its form, you will begin to see a truth that few perceive. That through all of this confrontation, the purpose is not to crush you, but to prepare you to step into a deeper level of hope, a hope that only comes after you have truly understood both the light and the darkness. My beloved child, after you have passed through the subtle whispers of darkness and learned how to stand firm amid its sweet invitations, you will begin to hear another question rise within you, gentler, deeper, and seeming to touch the very roots of your soul. Where do all these trials lead me? I know you long for an easy answer, a quick way out, but the path of light has never been a smooth, well-trodden road. Yet it always leads to life. And precisely when everything feels heaviest, I begin to show you a strange kind of hope, not a human hope, but a hope forged in the midst of storms. You do not see it, but it is your steadfastness that has already begun to drive back the darkness around you. You often think of judgment as something terrifying, the moment when everything is destroyed. But my child, in my eyes, judgment is purification, like fire burning away what is no longer true, so that only what is pure remains. I did not create the fire to consume you, but to free you from the layers of dust the world has left clinging to your soul for too long. There are things you believe belong to you that were never truly yours. There are attachments, thoughts, and desires you cling to that actually dim the light within you. Judgment comes to help you release those things, not to make you lose what matters. Sometimes the strongest shaking is the very sign that I am making your soul clearer, not darker. And when you pass through trials that seem far too great, you will realize they were never sent to crush you. On the contrary, each trial is like a hammer stroke upon the vessel that is shaping your life, making it stronger, more solid, able to contain more light and truth. The world may not see your quiet efforts. No one knows how many times you have chosen what is right in moments where there were no witnesses. But I see it all. Every time you refuse the darkness, however small it seems, you are writing a bold affirmation into your soul that you belong to the light. And those hidden choices are far more powerful than all the noise that darkness can create. You may think your life is nothing special, but you do not know that each faithful decision you make becomes a point of light for someone else who has lost their way. There are people watching you without your knowing. They see how you keep yourself, how you stand firm, how you choose love, when everything around you pushes you toward bitterness. And in the moment they see you not collapse, they begin to believe that the light still remains. You do not need to loudly proclaim or strive to prove anything. Your life itself has become a sign, a small lamp that is enough to help others find their way back. My light in you has never gone out. It has only grown deeper in color with every choice you have patiently upheld. So do not be afraid when the fire of refinement comes again. Do not think you have been abandoned when a new trial appears, for that is not a sign that I have turned my back on you, but proof that I am still at work within you. Do not let go too quickly when you feel exhausted. It is precisely then that the deepest layers of strength I placed in you begin to rise. Hold fast to the truth, even if you feel you can only cling with the tip of one finger. Continue to stand where the light calls you, even when everything around you insists it is useless. For I have overcome the world, and in that victory you share a portion. You are not merely surviving the darkness, you are carrying the light through it. My dearly loved child, do not let fear seep into your breath, for that trembling is only an echo from a world trying to choke out what I have planted in your heart. You are present in this moment in history not by coincidence, and not because you are strong enough by human standards, but because I see in you a flame no power can erode. I choose you for this time as one who kindles a testimony in the thickening night, like waves striking worn-down strongholds, like a breath of truth slipping through the cracks of souls that have long seemed shut. You must understand that your very presence carries a meaning far greater than all the doubts you hold inside. It is part of a design written long before you knew how to name your fears or recognize your own weakness. Darkness will not stand still when it sees the light growing in you. It will try every possible way to blow it out, to make you question the worth of your own soul, to lure you into believing that you are too small, that your voice is meaningless amid the clamor of the world. But my child, I tell you the truth. The world may shout loudly, yet most of that noise is hollow, without weight, without roots, without truth as its foundation. Only what comes from the light endures. Whatever is built on falsehood, no matter how solid it appears, will crumble when I breathe a single, gentle breath. I know you fear that your voice will be silenced, despised, or distorted by those who do not love the truth, but remember that truth does not need human approval to become truth. It stands on its own because its very nature is strength. You need only speak what has been entrusted to you, the power to move hearts, to touch souls, to shake invisible strongholds that does not belong to you, but to me, the one who upholds all things. The truth you speak today may be doubted, opposed, trampled underfoot, but it will quietly settle into the hearts of those who know how to listen, and at the right time, it will spring up strong like a seed that has been waiting for the rains. The world may, for a while, think it has managed to shut the mouth of the light, but no one can silence my voice, especially when I have chosen you to carry its echo. Prepare your heart, for there will be times when judgment will come like a wind sweeping through everything people have tried to build with nothing but outward appearances. I know there are moments when you see sin and deceit, and your heart tightens, when you ask yourself why the wicked seem to live in peace, while the upright are the ones who get wounded. But my child, you do not yet see that my silence is only the time I give for everything to be exposed at the appointed moment. There are those who think I do not see, think I do not hear, think their secrecy is enough to blind the very one who formed them. But the day will come when everything is brought into the light. Every intention will have to stand face to face with truth. Every mask will fall and reveal a face they themselves dare not look at. They will have nowhere left to hide, no words left to justify themselves, no haze left to cling to. I do not need to shout to make deceit tremble. The moment my light arrives, darkness dissolves on its own. Yet you must not tremble before this, for judgment is not an outburst of wrath poured out on those who seek me. For those who stand on the side of the light, judgment is simply my way of putting everything back in its rightful place, of opening the road they have tried to walk straight on, even while the world turned its back on them. And you yourself, my little child whom I love, are part of that road. You did not come here to be a spectator standing on the sidelines, watching the turning of the times. You came to help shape them by your very faithfulness. I do not demand that you become a hero, nor do I require you to be strong at every moment. I only ask that you do not lose the truth in your own heart. When you stand in the midst of the storm, I do. not expect you to pretend you are not afraid. I only long for you not to let fear decide the direction of your steps. You were created to stand firm, not because you are strong, but because I stand with you. And I want you to know that true strength is not the absence of trembling, but the choice to keep walking toward the light even while you tremble. In the days ahead, you will meet people who come to you with a gentle, courteous face, yet their intentions are far from upright. Some will offer you promises that make you feel valued and sought after. Some will try to persuade you to leave the path I have set before you with polished and impressive arguments. Some will stir up in you doubts that seem small, but are strong enough to weaken your faith. They will not bring what is wrong in a crude or obvious way. They will use misplaced gentleness, conditional care, a friendliness that hides a subtle trap. They will seek out your weak spots, your old wounds, the desires in you that you have not yet named, and they will blow into them sweet words that make your heart soften easily. But remember this, not every warmth comes from the light, and not every pleasant word carries truth. I have placed within you a quiet wisdom, a capacity to recognize what is real and what is only a beautiful shell. You need only to be still for a while. Let your heart grow calm. Let your soul feel deeply, and you will know what comes from me and what does not. Do not be afraid that you will be deceived, for I am here to guard you. Not by shielding you from every danger, but by giving you discernment to step into the right place, at the right time, in the right direction. I want you to trust the voice I have planted within your heart. Do not take lightly an intuition lit by holy light. When you stray, you will feel an inner imbalance. When you are about to step into something that is not from me, you will feel your soul fall strangely silent, like still waters before a storm. In contrast, when you move in the right direction, you will sense a peace that is strangely deep, not because the path is easy, but because I am walking with you. That peace is the sign by which you will recognize the road I have prepared for you. Yet, even though I am always here, you must still choose. No one can choose in your place. I can point you toward the light, but you must step forward yourself. You must dare to hold on to truth when others choose lies just to make life more comfortable. You must dare to stand firm even when you feel utterly alone. You must dare to open your heart even after having been betrayed. You must dare to love even when the world insists that love is weakness. And in those very choices, you will see your faith being forged and matured in ways you never imagined. My child, I did not choose you so that you would become an enemy of the world, but so that you would be a reminder to the world of what it wants to forget, that light still exists, that truth still has a voice, that righteousness still carries weight, that love is still stronger than all deceit. You only need to take the right next step each day, and I will take care of the rest. I will open doors you cannot open. I will close paths you think you want, but that would harm you. I will place around you people whose light is bright enough to lift you up, and whose integrity is straight enough to correct you. You need only to trust me, not with a blind trust, but with a trust that has passed through fire, tested and confirmed by the very times I have kept you from things you never knew were coming near. So take courage, my beloved child. You do not walk alone, you do not fight alone, you do not speak truth alone, and you certainly do not bear the light alone. I am within you, I go before you, I stand behind you, and I cover you with what darkness cannot pierce. And as you keep moving forward, little by little, the world will see that the light in you is not only to illuminate your own steps, but to open a way for souls in despair whom you have never even met. You need only to keep walking and leave the rest to me. My child, the truth you are waiting for will not come like a thunderbolt striking down from the sky, nor like a violent wind tearing everything apart in a single moment. It comes quietly, steadily, persistently, like waves that never cease to reach the shore, one after another, seemingly gentle, yet strong enough over the years to move even great rocks. There will be times you do not understand why it comes this way, why things unfold so slowly, at times dim and hard to grasp. But know this: truth never chooses the path of haste. It walks in its own way, so that it can sow into your heart a freedom you have longed for, but have not touched in a very long time. And every time you recognize a new fragment of truth, in that very moment, an invisible chain around your soul snaps one more link, strand by strand, until you can stand upright, no longer bound by fear, suffering, or the things the world once used to torment you. Do not let the noise of this life sweep you away like a leaf caught in a whirlpool. There are voices that sound loud and impressive, yet bring nothing but distraction, while the voice I have placed within you is very small, very gentle, yet it alone can guide you through each dangerous turn. Train your heart to grow quiet, for in stillness you will notice a very tender light leading you, a light that does not belong to this world. I am there, in every weary breath you take, in every step you think you are taking into the dark, in every moment you want to let go, but some unseen strength holds you up so that you do not fall. You are not as alone as you think, and whenever the space around you feels too wide, too empty to bear, remember that it is I who am surrounding you with a protection no one else can see. Though the times may shift and tilt, though people may be confused, though hearts may change, I remain patient as I shape you little by little. What you are facing is not punishment, but the process of refinement so you can carry something greater than yourself. You are not called to blend into the crowd that chases whatever is most comfortable in this life, but to become one who brings warmth to frozen hearts, to become a presence of peace in the midst of chaos, to become a small lamp lighting the way for others when all they can see is darkness. You cannot do this by your own strength alone, and that is why I have placed within you a purpose whose depth you yourself have not yet fully seen. I sowed that seed long ago, and now is the time for you to learn to trust it, even when your eyes do not yet see the fruit. I know there are days when this burden feels too heavy, as if you have been given a task beyond your capacity to bear. But understand this: I never place in the hands of a fragile soul something that is truly beyond it. I entrust work to those whose hearts are soft enough to listen and strong enough to stand. You are one of those people, and do not rush to judge yourself by the moments when you feel you are trembling. No one stands in the light without having once trembled before the dark. What matters is not that you have never been afraid, but that you still choose to go on, still choose to hold on to what is right, still choose to return to me, even when you feel your heart is cracked and breaking. This world will be transformed, and that change will not come through those who only know how to speak, but through those who dare let truth touch them first, people like you, who are willing to let me awaken, purify, and shape them. The reward prepared for you is not only hidden in some distant future, it is present in every step that makes you stronger, deeper, freer. When you stand firm, even those watching you from afar will begin to believe that hope still remains. You are not just an individual trying to live uprightly. You are a sign of a new time, a time when light will prevail and darkness will be forced to retreat. Therefore, do not draw back, even if the road before you looks long and hard to foresee. I am walking with you, not as someone standing behind you watching, but as the one holding your hand through every rough stretch. If you stumble, I lift you up. If you grow weary, I support you. If you fall, I carry you. There is no moment in your life when I leave you, and no trial that I allow you to endure alone. Be strong not by suppressing every weakness, but by letting me place my strength precisely where you are weakest. You are part of something far beyond your understanding, something growing day by day like an underground river surging powerfully beneath the surface, waiting only for the right moment to burst forth. Truth will come, and when it comes, everything hidden will be exposed, everything counterfeit will be erased, everything twisted will be set straight again. And in that moment, you will see that all you have patiently held on to was never in vain. You will stand there, not with the posture of the defeated, but with the bearing of one who has walked the whole road despite its many trials, because you have always known that I was by your side. My beloved child, I know that in these days you feel as though the whole world has sunk into a deep and heavy night, and at times you think you are standing alone in that vast darkness. But you are mistaken. You are not standing alone. You have never stood alone. I have been beside you since before you knew how to call my name, and I will remain beside you until the very end of the last days. You need only remember this. No matter how the world changes, no matter how people may be, no matter how fierce the storms of life may grow, I do not change, and the love I have for you never fades. You belong to me, and wherever I am there is always light, there is truth, there is life, and there is a future that nothing can ever steal from your hands. My beloved child, perhaps in many moments you have looked at yourself and quietly thought that the little flame you are holding is nothing more than a fragile spark before the dense night that is swallowing humanity. You feel so small that you are almost lost, as though a single strong breath from the world would be enough to blow out all that you are trying to protect. But my child, I want you to listen very deeply, to listen with the softest place in your soul, for I speak this to you by a truth that existed before the world was formed. The light within you is not the flickering fire of human effort, but the light I, myself, placed in your soul, and whatever comes from me carries a life that surpasses every finite understanding of this world. You keep thinking you are weak, yet in reality that light is so strong that as long as you still breathe, it continues to burn quietly through the layers of darkness closing in around you. You see it as small because you are looking at it with eyes veiled by much pain, while I look at you with eyes that know exactly what you were created for. And I know that this flame exists not only to preserve you, but also to sow into the heart of the world what I long to entrust to it through your life. The light you carry is not simply a bit of goodwill or your own effort. It is the stream of grace I have poured into your heart from the days when you did not yet understand the meaning of your own existence. Within you, faith is still breathing its quiet rhythm, love is still spreading little by little, and my support has never ceased its work even when you can no longer feel it as clearly as before. You see yourself as inconsistent, but that light has never been fickle. You feel yourself growing weaker, but that light has never diminished. It is stronger than confusion, more persistent than the inner storms you thought you could never live through. You need keep only one thing. Do not walk away from me. Each time you choose to return to me, each time you quietly say, Father, here I am, that light is held more firmly and more deeply within your soul, until the darkness, however far it stretches its hand, cannot touch the core of who you are. You may be living in a world that is tipping over, where everyone is scrambling to secure their own safety, where the noise of ambition, fear, and chaos jostles to pull you away from peace. Yet the reality is this: your soul is still standing, not because you are strong, but because you have anchored yourself in my truth. You are like a small boat battered by waves, yet tied to an anchor that can never break. The waves may strike you, but they cannot dislodge you from me. The storm may cover you, but it cannot sweep you away from the sure place where I myself am holding you. At times you think you are clinging to me, but the truth is that I am holding you 1,000 times more tightly than you imagine. There are days when you want to give up, yet I do not let you fall. There are nights when you are so weary that you have no words left to pray, yet I still hear the sighs in your heart as clearly as the voice of a child returning to their father in all simplicity. What keeps your light rising again, even when the darkness thinks it has won, is your choice, the choice to remain in my love in days when the whole world seems to turn its back on what is true. I see every moment you choose what is right when the easy way lies in the opposite direction. I see each time you choose to forgive while the wound is still not fully healed. I see every quiet moment you keep your heart pure while everything around you urges you to compromise. You do not realize that these silent choices are what open the way for light to blaze out from within you, so bright that the enemy trembles at the sight of it. Darkness is always afraid of souls who stand their ground in truth, even when they are shaking, because darkness is powerless against those who choose to bind themselves to me. In a world that is increasingly weary of the truth, you become a place where others come when they no longer know whom to ask. You do not see it, but your quiet steps are a source of comfort to those who are unsteady. They watch how you live, how you endure, how you rise again after every fall, and it is this that gives them hope that light has not vanished from humanity. You are like a lighthouse that never boasts of its brightness, yet saves many who are drifting in the night sea. I do not require you to shout aloud or prove anything. It is enough that you continue to live honestly with the light within you, and others will see me through you. Even when you feel most alone, you are never truly walking by yourself. With every step you take, I walk beside you. Every time you choose what is right, I stand behind you, lifting you up. In each moment when you think you are about to collapse, I place my unseen hand upon your back, so you may know that you are being upheld by a love that will never leave you. You do not need to be strong in the way the world demands. You only need to remain with me, and I will turn your weakness into strength, your fear into wisdom, and your tears into seeds that will grow into a hope no one can extinguish. You are the living testimony that light still remains, that darkness cannot reign forever, that my love is stronger than all the decay of this world. And even when you think you are small, I see in you a strength capable of changing the very atmosphere of the souls you touch. You were not created to be submerged. You were created to shine not by your own power, but by my very life, flowing through you hour by hour, day by day, even when you do not see it. So continue to walk with a gentle yet steadfast faith. Do not let the weariness of the world drown out the words I am speaking into your heart. You are not fighting alone. I am here. I am behind you. I am before you. I surround you with arms that no force can break through. Even when you feel lost in the turbulent sea of life, my light is still guiding your way, little by little. So keep walking, even if your steps are slow. Keep living, even if you live with trembling. Keep believing, even if there is still much you do not understand. For the light I have placed within you will go on burning, growing, and shaping you into someone you yourself never expected, to become a flame that cannot be quenched, a living sign that I am still present, and a quiet yet powerful witness to the truth that is saving this world day by day. Sit with me for a while, for what I am about to say must be heard with your whole heart, not only with your ears. When you look at this world and ask yourself why the darkness has grown so thick, I want you to know that what is happening is not random chaos or a passing storm that will simply fade away, but the result of a long, smoldering process that began when human beings started turning away from the source of light I had placed within them from the very beginning. When a candle is left too long in the wind, it will flicker and then grow weak, and humanity has been living just like that, neglecting the light, then blaming me because the darkness is swallowing them more and more. The world has chosen to trust sweet but deceitful invitations. They have let go of the purity I gave them to chase after glittering things without a soul, promises of power, prominence, the feeling of being above others, the illusion of being able to control their own destiny without me. And in the very moment they think they are most free, the chains tighten around them the most, and they do not even realize it. You must understand that darkness does not rush in with a roar or with the obvious appearance of evil. It is neither hasty nor impatient. It is patient like a tailor, diligently stitching invisible threads into the fabric of human life. It sows into their hearts the seeds of pride, of the desire to possess, of the fear of losing out, of the thirst for fame, things that first appear as tiny shoots, but, when nourished by easy choices, grow into vines that coil around the soul. People today find it easier to feel they are right than to feel they might be wrong, easier to seek someone to blame than to seek the truth, easier to be swept up in what is superficial than to return to the purity I planted in them. And when they come to believe that darkness is a sign of strength, they move even farther from the light, unaware that they are cutting themselves off from the one thing that can save them from collapse. Then you will see that society has changed to the point that what was once called wrong is now celebrated as normal, while the things that belong to me, the values of humility, purity, and self-giving, are dismissed as outdated. It is not because these things have become false, but because people do not want to be reminded of their own conscience. And the adversary, the one who has opposed me from the beginning, knows very well how to strike the weakest places in the human heart. He does not need to show himself. He hides behind beautiful ideas, half-true notions of freedom, pieces of advice that seem mature, yet lead souls into a place where they no longer recognize the truth. When people feel they are self-determining, that is when they are led farthest away from what is real. The deceiver is skilled at making them think they are rising, when in reality they are falling. But do not think that everything is simply sliding downward without hope. On the contrary, at the very moment when the darkness grows thickest, the light within you becomes all the more distinct. Not because you are stronger than others, but because you have chosen not to extinguish the flame I placed in your heart, even while the world is constantly trying to blow it out. You know to whom you belong. You know what you were made to walk in, and though you may grow weary and waver at times, that flame has never once gone out. You must remember that the light formed in you is not for you to keep to yourself. It is the proof that, even amid the fractures, I am still upholding the world through faithful souls like you. I know that at times you ask yourself whether your light is enough to stand against such overwhelming darkness. You imagine yourself as only a tiny point, but I want you to know this. A single candle is enough to keep the darkness from ever becoming absolute. The enemy may sow lies into the heart of an entire generation, but he cannot extinguish the light of one person who knows they belong to me. You are the proof that darkness does not win. You are my answer to the powers that seek to swallow humanity in confusion and despair. You do not need to shout or strain yourself to fight the world. You only need to remain upright, faithful, and watchful. Every choice you make, even the smallest, becomes a declaration to the darkness that you do not belong to it. My beloved child, I know that in these days it feels to you as though the whole world were sinking into a dense night, and at times you think you are standing alone in the vastness of that space. But you are mistaken. You do not stand alone. You have never stood alone. I have been beside you since before you knew how to call my name, and I will remain beside you until the very end of the last days. You need only remember this. No matter how the world changes, no matter how people become, no matter how fierce the storms of life may be, I do not change, and neither does the love I have for you ever fade. You belong to me, and wherever I am, there is always light, there is truth, there is life, and there is a future that nothing and no one can steal from your hands. My beloved child, perhaps in many moments you have looked at yourself and quietly thought that the small light you are holding is nothing more than a fragile spark before the thick night that is swallowing humanity. You feel so small that you are almost lost, as if a single strong breath from the world would be enough to blow out everything you are trying to protect. But my child, I want you to listen very deeply, to listen with the softest place in your soul, because I am telling you something that has been true since before the world was formed. The light within you is not a flickering human flame, but the light I myself placed in your soul, and anything that comes from me carries a life force that surpasses every limited understanding of this passing world. You keep thinking you are weak, but in reality that light is so strong that as long as you are still breathing, it continues to burn quietly through the layers of darkness surrounding you. You see it as small because you are looking with eyes veiled by many wounds, but I look at you with eyes that know exactly what you were created to be. And I know that this flame exists not only to preserve you, but also to sow into the heart of the world what I myself desire to entrust through your life. The light you carry is not merely a bit of your goodwill or effort. It is the stream of grace I have poured into your heart from the days when you did not yet understand the meaning of your own existence. Within you, faith is still breathing in rhythm, love is still spreading, little by little, and my sustaining hand is still at work, even when you no longer feel it as clearly as before. You see yourself as inconsistent, but that light has never been inconsistent. You feel yourself growing weaker, but that light has never diminished. It is stronger than your confusion, more enduring than the inner storms you believe you cannot survive. You only need to hold fast to one thing: do not depart from me. Each time you choose to return to me, each time you quietly say, "Father, here I am," that light is held more securely and shines more deeply in your soul until the darkness, no matter how far it reaches, cannot touch the core of who you are. You may live in a world that is tilting and collapsing, where everyone is scrambling to protect their own sense of safety, where the noise of ambition, fear, and chaos crowds in and tries to pull you away from peace. But the reality is this: your soul still stands firm, not because you are strong, but because you have anchored yourself in my truth. You are like a small boat battered by waves, yet tied to an anchor that can never break. The waves can strike you, but they cannot tear you away from me. The storm can envelop you, but it cannot sweep you from the foundation that I, myself, am holding. At times you think you are clinging to me, but the truth is that I am holding you 1,000 times more tightly than you imagine. There are days when you want to give up, but I do not let you fall. There are nights when you are so weary that you have no words left to pray, and yet I still hear clearly the sighs within you as the voice of a child returning to the Father in honesty. What keeps your light burning, even when darkness thinks it has already won, is your choice, the choice to remain in my love on days when the whole world seems to turn its back on what is true. I see every little moment you choose what is right when the easier path lies in the opposite direction. I see each time you choose to forgive, even when your wounds have not yet fully healed. I see every moment you keep your heart pure, even while everything around you urges you to compromise. You do not realize that these silent choices are the very pathways that allow the light to flare up from within you, so bright that the enemy trembles when he sees it. Darkness has always feared souls that stand still in the truth, even when they are trembling, because darkness can do nothing to those who choose to bind themselves to me. In a world that is increasingly weary of the truth, you become the place others come to when they no longer know whom to ask. You do not notice it, but your quiet footsteps are a consolation to those who are unsteady. They look at how you live, how you endure, how you rise again after each fall, and that alone gives them hope that light has not yet disappeared from humankind. You are like a lighthouse that never boasts of its brightness, yet saves many who are drifting in the night sea. I do not demand that you shout aloud or prove anything. I only ask that you continue to live honestly with the light within you, and others will see me through you. Even when you feel most alone, you are never truly walking by yourself. With every step you take, I walk beside you. Every time you choose what is right, I stand behind you and lift you up. Every moment you think you are about to collapse, I place my unseen hand upon your back so that you know you are still being supported by a love that will never abandon you. You do not need to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You only need to remain with me, and I will turn your weakness into strength, your fear into wisdom, and your tears into seeds that will sprout into a hope no one can extinguish. You yourself are the living testimony that the light still remains, that darkness cannot rule forever, that my love is still stronger than all the decay of this world. And even when you think you are small, I see in you a strength powerful enough to change the very atmosphere of the souls you touch. You were not created to be drowned. You were created to shine. Not by your own strength, but by my very life flowing through you hour by hour, day by day, even when you do not see it. Therefore, keep walking with a gentle yet persevering faith. Do not let the weariness of the world drown out the words I am speaking into your heart. You are not fighting alone. I am here. I go behind you. I go before you. I surround you with arms no power can break through. Even if you feel lost in the chaotic sea of life, my light is still illuminating your path, little by little. Just keep moving, even if your steps are slow. Keep living, even if you live with trembling. Keep believing, even if your heart still holds many questions. For the light I have placed within you will continue to blaze, to grow, and to shape you into someone you yourself never expected to become, a flame that cannot be quenched, a living sign that I am still present, and a quiet yet mighty witness of the truth that is saving this world day by day. Sit with me for a while, for what I am about to say to you must be heard with your whole heart, not only with your ears. When you look at this world and ask why the darkness has grown so thick, I want you to know that what is happening is not random chaos or a brief storm that will simply pass, but the result of a slow, smoldering process that began when people first drifted away from the source of light I placed in their hearts from the very beginning. When a candle is left too long in the wind, it flickers and then fades, and humanity has lived this way, neglecting the light, and then blaming me when the darkness slowly devours them. The world has chosen to believe soft, sweet invitations that are in fact deceitful. They have traded away the clarity I gave them, chasing after things that glitter but have no soul, after promises of power, prominence, the feeling of being above others, the illusion of being able to control their own destiny without me. And in the very moment they think they are most free, the chains tighten around them the heaviest, and they do not even realize it. You must understand that darkness does not rush in with a roar or appear in the obvious form of evil. It is not hurried or impatient. It is patient, like a tailor carefully stitching invisible threads into the fabric of human life. It sows into their hearts the seeds of pride, of possessiveness, of fear, of losing out, of hunger for fame, things that at first are only tiny sprouts, but when nurtured by easy choices, grow into vines that constrict the soul. People today find it easier to feel they are right than to feel they may be wrong, easier to shift blame than to seek the truth, easier to be swept into the whirlpool of what is superficial and vain than to return to the purity I planted within them. And when they begin to believe that darkness is a sign of strength, they move even farther away from the light, not realizing that they are cutting themselves off from the only thing that can save them from collapse. You will see that society has changed to the point where what was once considered wrong is now celebrated as normal, while the things that belong to me, the values of humility, purity, and self-giving, are dismissed as outdated. It is not because those things are wrong, but because people do not want to be reminded of their own conscience. And the adversary, the one who has opposed me from the beginning, knows very well how to strike at the weakest points in the human heart. He has no need to reveal himself. He hides behind beautiful ideas, half-true notions of freedom, pieces of advice that seem mature, yet lead souls to a place where they no longer recognize the truth. When people feel they are self-determining, it is often then that they are led farthest away from what is real. The deceiver is very skilled at making them think they are rising, while in reality they are falling. But do not think that everything is merely sliding downward without hope. On the contrary, at the very moment when darkness seems thickest, the light within you becomes all the more visible. Not because you are stronger than others, but because you have chosen not to extinguish the flame I set in your heart, even though the world is constantly sending winds against it. You know to whom you belong. You know what you were created to walk in. And though there are times when you are tired, times when you are shaken, that flame has not gone out once. You must remember that the light formed within you is not given for you alone. It is proof that even amid the fractures, I am still upholding the world through faithful souls like you. I know that at times you wonder whether your light is enough to stand against such overwhelming darkness. You imagine you are only a tiny point, but I want you to know this. A single candle is already enough to ensure that darkness can never become absolute. The enemy may sow deception into the hearts of an entire generation, but he cannot extinguish the light of one person who knows they belong to me. You are the evidence that darkness cannot win. You are my answer to the forces that seek to swallow humanity in confusion and despair. You do not need to scream or strain yourself to fight the world. You only need to keep yourself upright, faithful, and watchful. Every choice you make, even the smallest, becomes a declaration to the darkness that you do not belong to it. He will not stop at merely sowing doubt in your mind. He will stir up desires you thought you had long left behind, awaken wounds that have not yet had time to heal, and fan into flame emotions you do not wish to face. He will use money to make you think you can protect yourself, use power to make you believe that being respected is the ultimate goal, use the admiring gaze of people to make you assume that your worth depends on the applause of those who have never truly known your soul. He will cause you to question the very reason for your existence, as if you were born only to chase the shallow things this world celebrates. He will whisper that suffering is nothing but a waste, that the trials you bear bring nothing but damage, that you are walking a meaningless path clung to only by those too weak to let go of vague hopes. He will try to make you believe that your faith is a prison and not a home, that your loyalty to the light is what keeps you from a life of freedom and indulgence. But my child, I want you to pause for a moment and listen to me, not with your ears, but with the stillness in your heart, where I have placed my own mark. The promises of darkness never lead to life. They only make you run in circles through a vast desert, drinking from mirages whose every sip leaves your throat drier than before. He cannot create anything truly good. He only knows how to copy what I have made and twist it into pleasant but hollow imitations. He promises you happiness, but hides from you the price, your soul. He offers you rewards that look like light yet breathe out the cold of the abyss. And the longer you chase after him, the harder it becomes for you to recognize which voice is mine and which is only an echo crafted to deceive you. I know there will be moments when you feel your strength has run out, when keeping your heart straight in a world that calls darkness light and light darkness feels beyond your capacity. Yet I also know that even in that exhaustion, your light has not gone out. It is only waiting for one breath from me to blaze up again. Remember, that light does not shine brightest on clear days. Its strength is most radiant when it stands in the midst of darkness without changing its color. You do not need to prove anything to the world. You only need to hold on to what I have planted within you. Others may not understand why you must fight, bit by bit, against temptations they consider harmless. They may think you are too serious, too hard on yourself. But they do not understand that the soul is the most fragile thing of all, and that a single tiny crack is enough for darkness to slip in without a sound. The enemy knows this better than anyone, so he will keep trying to create subtle tremors to break apart the peace I have placed in you. He wants you to believe that no one sees your efforts, that your silent battles bring no benefit, that living in the light is a lonely journey with no reward. But my child, I see everything. I see every moment you choose what is right even when no one stands with you. I see every time you refuse fleeting pleasures to keep your heart pure. I see every night you weep because you feel overwhelmed, yet still do not give up. And I guard each of these as a father keeps his most precious treasures. I want you to understand that not a single one of your tears is meaningless. Not a single one of your wounds is useless. Not a single one of your trials is redundant. Each thing you endure is deepening, strengthening, and fortifying your soul. You cannot see these changes day by day, but I see them clearly. You are being forged like iron in the fire, not so that you might be broken, but so that nothing will be able to shake you. And when you stand firm against the seductions of darkness, you become a torch that can light the way for others who are desperately searching for an escape. Your light is not meant for you alone. It is a gift I give to the world through you. There are souls watching you whom you do not know, hearts finding their hope again simply because they see you. Continue to rise after every fall. Do not think that the trials you are going through are a sign that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, it is precisely because I love you that I do not allow you to become weak in the face of small things. I want you strong enough not to be swept away by the shifting winds of this world. I want you steady enough that no one can steal the joy and peace I have placed within you. I want you sober enough to know that true freedom does not come from doing whatever you want, but from not being enslaved by anything. And I want you bright enough to become a place of support for those who are wandering and lost. My child, do not fear the whispers of the darkness, for he knows only lies. Truth never needs to whisper. Truth walks in with peace, in the light, with a certainty that does not need to flaunt itself or fight for attention. You only need to turn back to me whenever your heart starts to tremble at sweet but empty invitations. I am always there, with arms wide open, with a heart that never grows weary of you, and with a light strong enough to drive back every shadow around you, no matter how tightly it tries to surround you. My beloved child, even as you sit with yourself and think you have somewhat understood the silent battles within your soul, I want to whisper this to you. Do not let any honeyed words draw you away from my gaze. There are words that sound so gentle, so pleasant, so timely, so perfectly fitted to your deepest longings. Yet you must remember, not everything that stirs your heart comes from the light. Some words are sown only to stir your deepest desires, your unhealed emptiness, and darkness always knows how to touch exactly where it will make you soften. So keep your eyes fixed on me, like a child gripping their father's hand in a crowded marketplace, not looking left or right, only toward the one place of safety they trust. I promise you this, I will never leave your side for even half a step, never lead you into the middle of the desert only to make you find your own way out. I am not a father who stands above merely watching. I am the one who walks with you, beside you, close to you, like the very breath you sometimes do not notice, but by which you live each passing moment. Engrave this into your heart. You have never been truly alone, no matter how deeply that feeling may soak into you until you think you have been abandoned. On the nights when you bury your head in your pillow and no one knows why your tears are falling, I know. When you force a smile in a crowd while your heart feels squeezed tight, I know. When you wonder if anyone truly understands the heaviness you carry, I know. And when you choke on the feeling that you are standing in a dark room with your hand reaching out for something to hold and finding nothing, I am that support, even if the darkness is too thick for you to recognize it. Though your eyes cannot see me, I am still there, brighter than you imagine, closer than you think, more patient than you hope. The light I bring does not blind you. It is gentle enough to lead you step by step, so that your soul never loses its direction even when you do not know where you are going. You will notice when everything grows harsher, when the cold wind begins to change direction, when your heart suddenly aches with a nameless fear. That is when the enemy draws near, not necessarily with blatant threats but with subtle, calculated finesse. He will look for the moment when you are weakest, touching old pains, the gaps you thought you had already moved past, the buried longings that never truly disappeared. He will whisper doubts into your ear, words that make you stagger, that make you question whether you are enough, whether you are heading the wrong way, whether what you believe is really worth holding on to until the end. He will try to make you think these battles are pointless, that collapsing would be easier than continuing to stand. But my child, I warn you not to frighten you, but so that you can recognize the trial as it approaches. For when you know what is happening, you will be less likely to be swept away by emotion and forget who it is that holds your hand. At times you will see others, people you once thought were stronger than you, more steadfast than you, deeper than you, suddenly waver, fall, or lose themselves before schemes too subtle to detect. You will witness hearts once filled with light slowly fade, souls once radiant growing dim and heavy, people you considered pillars suddenly unable to stand firm. This will make your own heart tremble with confusion. You will ask me, Father, if even they cannot endure, how can I possibly stand? But remember, true strength does not come from watching someone else stand firm. It comes from clinging to me, regardless of who falls or who remains. I have never asked you to follow the crowd. I have invited you to follow me, and what is mine will never collapse under the winds of deceit. There will come moments when you stand between two lines. On one side, a harsh, difficult, lonely truth. On the other, the easy comfort of sweet promises you know do not belong to me. You will grow weary of guarding your heart, weary of refusing to bend the truth, weary of choosing what is right when what is wrong seems so much easier. You will see those who choose compromise appearing more relaxed, under less pressure, more readily accepted by the crowd. And you will ask yourself, why did I choose this path? Is it really worth it, Father? You will question yourself in long nights when your faith feels scraped raw, when everything you hold dear seems to crumble in your hands. But I want you to know this: the worth of a soul is not revealed on calm days. It is revealed on the day that soul dares to stand firm when the storm lashes from every side. Faithfulness is not measured by what you feel, but by what you choose, even when your emotions pull you in the opposite direction. You cannot avoid doubt, for it is part of growing up in the light. Faith does not blossom in places of safety. It is forged on the ground where you must face your own fears. I do not expect you never to be afraid. I only ask that you not let fear decide the road you walk next. If you tremble, tremble in my arms. If you are tired, be tired upon my shoulder. If you do not understand, ask me. If you are lost, call out to me. You do not need to be strong in front of me, because I have never asked you to become a flawless warrior. I love you even when you are confused, out of breath, and unsure whether you can take another step. But you must stay awake, awake in your mind, awake in your soul, awake in every smallest choice. Your faith will not be tested only once, but many times, until it stands firm like a tree with roots sunk deep into the soil. The enemy does not need to destroy you with one blow. He only needs to nudge you slightly off the purpose I have given you, just as a ship that veers a few degrees will end up on a completely different shore. Know this: the purpose I have for you is not merely a task, it is a promise. I do not call you in order to take something away from you. I call you to give you a life of weight, of meaning, of imprint that no storm can erase. And when you face the moment that feels like you have no strength left to move forward, I want you to remember, I am your refuge. Not a place to escape from the world, but the place where you rediscover yourself in the midst of it. If you are exhausted, I will lift you up with a peace no wind can overthrow. If you are attacked from every direction, I will be the shield no arrow can pierce. If darkness presses too tightly around you, I will be the light that does not allow it to advance even one more step. Simply come to me, without hiding, without pretending to be strong. Come with all your wounds, your fears, your confusion, and even the hardest questions you have kept inside for so long. I will never turn away. I will never grow tired of you. I will never stop waiting for you. Therefore, even when you see many fall, even when the cries of the world grow louder, even when deceit grows so dense that you can hardly see the road ahead, remember my words. You do not walk alone. You are walking with the one who never loses his power, never suffers defeat, and never allows the enemy to seize any soul that chooses the light. And you are stepping into a time when your faithfulness will become a sign by which despairing souls find their way home. Do not ask if it is worth it. Do not measure by the emotions of this day. Do not fear what you do not yet understand. Simply keep your eyes fixed on me and leave the rest to me. My child, let me speak to you in a voice that is gentle yet unwavering, because what I am about to place in your heart now is not only to comfort you, but to awaken a strength that has been lying still within you for far too long. You often see yourself as small in the face of trials, trembling before upheavals, doubting your own ability, but I see something else, something you yourself have never truly recognized. You are far stronger than you think, not with a hard, outward toughness, but with a quiet strength, forged each time you rose after a fall, in the wounds you carefully wrapped, yet never allowed to turn you bitter, in the long nights when you still tried to keep your heart upright though no one knew. That strength does not come from loud declarations, but from the silent perseverance of each day, from the simple yet enduring trust you place in me. You think you are merely surviving, but, in my eyes, you are winning countless small battles that the world will never bother to count. You have been equipped for this battle long before you even knew it existed. Before you could name the inner wars of your own heart, I had already wrapped around you an invisible armor, truth, that which enables you to stand upright. Amid thousands of enticing falsehoods, righteousness, that which helps you discern what is right, even when it costs you. Faith, that which keeps you moving forward, even when you cannot yet see where the path will lead. And salvation, that which surrounds your soul whenever the darkness tries to swallow you in despair. These do not spring from your own willpower alone. They are gifts I quietly placed within you from very early on, so that when life begins to shake, you would not be driven away from the place where you truly belong. And I have placed in your hand a weapon that no power can destroy, the sword of the Spirit, that is, my living word. Do you know why I put it in your hand? Because there are battles for which armor alone is not enough. There are times when lies approach you not with threats, but with sweetness, not with loud shouting, but with fleeting thoughts that make you doubt yourself. In those moments, you cannot fight back with reason, experience, or emotion. Alone, you need something sharper, something that can divide truth from illusion, light from darkness, what is truly right from what is just right enough to lead you astray. My word is that sword. Each time you repeat it in your heart, each time you cling to it instead of clinging to your exhausted feelings, you are pushing the darkness a little further away from your soul, just enough for you to breathe, enough for you to stand firm, enough for you to remember that you are not fighting alone. The light within you is not something you created by yourself. It comes from your union with me, from the prayers you whisper in helplessness, from the tears you dare not let anyone see, from the times you choose silence instead of reacting out of raw instinct. That light is not easily extinguished, because it does not depend on your strength to maintain it. It depends on its source, and that source is me. You may waver, grow weary, even struggle with doubt, but I never leave you. I keep that flame when you have no strength left. I breathe it brighter when you are surrounded by uncertainty. I shield it from poisonous winds whenever the world tries to snuff it out with its coldness. All you need to do is allow me to continue doing what I have always done, protecting you from things you cannot yet see. The enemy will try to whisper to you that darkness is stronger than light, that it spreads faster, occupies more space, and exerts greater influence. It wants you to believe that light is just a small, insignificant ray in the vast picture of the world. It wants you to think that your faithfulness changes nothing, that your kindness is not enough to soothe a suffering world, that your efforts are nothing but a grain of dust in a storm too great to bear. There will be moments when it persuades you that retreat is the easiest choice, that giving up is not really wrong, but you must know this: not a single word it speaks is true. Darkness may spread quickly, but only where light is absent. A single, small ray of light is enough to break open a wide expanse of night. And the light within you, the light I have placed in you, is not a weak flicker, but a light rooted in the one who never fades. You must engrave this into your heart. Light always overcomes darkness, not sometimes, not in a few cases, not only when conditions are favorable, always. Darkness cannot stand against light, because darkness exists only where light is absent. Once light appears, darkness no longer has the power to remain. It must retreat, however unwillingly, and it is precisely this light that makes the enemy fear you. It fears what you carry. It fears what you are rising up to become. It fears the steadfastness I am building in you. That is why it never stops trying to make you doubt yourself, doubt me, doubt the purpose I have placed within you, because it knows that if you only forget who you are, you will extinguish by your own hand the very light that is blazing powerfully from within. But do not let those voices shake you. Look at the very journey you have already walked. How many times did you think you were about to collapse, yet somehow you still stood up again? How many times did you believe you had lost everything, yet you found hope again in the smallest of things? How many times did you feel utterly lost, yet something unexplained, a whisper, a peace that surpassed understanding, a tiny glimmer of light drew you back? That was not coincidence. It is proof that I have never abandoned you. You are still standing today not because you are strong, but because I am strong within you. You still carry that light not because you are flawless, but because I cannot bear to let you lose yourself. My child, remember that this battle is not about proving anything to me. I already know you completely. This battle is for you to see who you are in me, for you to recognize the deep strength hidden within you, for you to understand that truth will always prevail, and for you to become the one who brings light into places where no one else dares to go. You are not only protected, you are prepared, equipped, and sent. And I will go with you, step by step, day by day, moment by moment. My beloved, I hear the slight tremor in your soul each time you look at the world and feel as though it is sliding further away from what is good. I know how your eyes sometimes ache at the distortions you are forced to witness, as though all humanity were leaning toward the edge of an abyss without realizing it. But my child, I want you to pause for a heartbeat, listen to your own breath, and let this sentence sink deep into your heart. I am the light of the world, and that light never fades, never burns out, and is never swept away by the erratic movements of history or of the human heart. Darkness may grow so thick that you think the light has been swallowed, but remember, my light has never shifted even the smallest fraction. Where I am present, darkness can do nothing but retreat, and you, yes, you are the mirror that reflects that light. You do not shine by your own strength, but my light flows through you like a stream that never runs dry. I have chosen your soul as a vessel to hold truth, to hold love, to hold the very life this world is longing for yet does not know how to seek. You sometimes think you are not enough, not worthy, not strong, But, my child, I do not require perfection from you in order for you to reflect my light. I only ask that your heart remain soft before me, so that I can go on filling it. A vessel with cracks can still hold light if it remains in the hands of the one who formed it. And those very cracks, when touched by me, become the places where the light breaks out the strongest. Do not let deceptive words slip into your mind and tell you that you are losing, that darkness is winning, that your efforts are meaningless. The enemy will always try to pour that false sound into your heart, because it knows that if it can just make you doubt the light within you, it will easily lead you into places where light no longer guides you. It does not need to make you fall through great temptations. It only needs to make you question what I have spoken to you. It wants you to forget where you belong, forget what you carry within you, forget that you are being held by the one who never breaks his promises. I want you to be watchful, but I do not want you to be afraid. Be careful with things that seem good yet carry no breath of truth. Be alert to the choices the world calls reasonable, yet bear no trace of me. Do not let those easy doors pull you away from the path I have consecrated for your feet. This world may choose to side with the enemy, may treat darkness as normal, may encourage compromise and dress it up with arguments that sound so convincing. But you are invited into another story, another height, a purpose that rises far above the trivial things the world calls important. You do not belong to this world. You live in it, but you are not confined by it. You walk on the earth, but your breath is joined to heaven. You hear the noise of human voices, but your direction is guided by my voice speaking within your heart. You bear my name in your soul. You belong to the Most High, and therefore you cannot live as if you were merely one more indistinct part of a blind current. You are placed in this world as a sign, as a testimony, as a living symbol of what darkness can never erase, the enduring truth that light still remains. Your purpose is not to run from the darkness, nor to blend into it for the sake of safety. Your purpose is to reflect my glory, to shine in places that seem to have lost all hope, to stand firm where others have already given up, to hold fast to truth where others have traded it away. You are the lamp I have set in the night, so that people may find the way home. You are the warmth I send into frozen hearts. You are the seed of light I sow in the very places where darkness believes it reigns without rival. You don't know this, but there are people quietly watching the way you live, the way you forgive, the way you stand firm, the way you refuse to give up. In you, they see something they themselves have lost. In your eyes, they see a peace they long for but don't know where to find. And it is precisely through your faithfulness, not through loud words or grand actions, that they are drawn closer to the true source of light. You become an open door of hope for weary souls, a heartbeat reminding them that goodness still exists, that love still has the power to heal, that grace can still raise a person up from the deepest place. This world can follow the enemy without even realizing it, because darkness often disguises itself very well. It wraps itself in what seems reasonable, compassionate, even bright, and only those who carry light within can truly discern it. You have been placed in this world not to look with physical eyes, but to see with the light I have kindled in your soul. Do not be afraid when you see what others do not see. Do not be saddened when you walk in the opposite direction of the crowd. Do not doubt when you must choose the harder path instead of the easier one. All of that only proves that you are living true to who you really are. You were not created to dissolve into your surroundings, but to shine, not to compromise, but to stand upright, not to be swallowed by darkness, but to become living proof that darkness cannot engulf what belongs to me. And the more faithful you are, the stronger that light becomes. The stronger that light becomes, the more darkness trembles. The more darkness trembles, the more fiercely it attacks you. But the more fiercely it attacks you, the more tightly I hold you close. That cycle makes you feel as though you are being stretched to the point of wanting to let go. But the truth is this: it is in precisely those moments that I am refining you, enlarging your soul so that you can carry even more light. You are my child, and because you are mine, you carry within yourself something that belongs to eternity. You do not merely exist in this world, you have been sent to shine, sent to heal, sent to stand firm, sent to prove that light cannot be buried, even when darkness believes it has already won. You are a living reminder that truth still exists, that love is still stronger than destruction, that grace can still reach places that seemed utterly unreachable. My beloved child, I know you are tired. I know there are days when all you want is to hide away. But remember this: as long as you are still standing, as long as your heart is still turned toward me, as long as you still choose the light in even the smallest things, you are already making all of heaven rejoice and causing darkness to tremble. You are my witness not by title, but by your very breath, your perseverance, your gaze, your heart. You do not need to shout for others to see the light within you. That light is already strong on its own, already spreading, already reaching places you could never imagine. Just keep walking, my child. Without haste, without fear, without pressure. Walk as someone who knows they are being led. Live as someone who knows exactly where they belong. And believe that the light you carry will not only preserve you, but will also save people whose names you will never know. For my light, once placed within you, will never be extinguished. And you, yes, you will be the place where that light blazes out the brightest in the midst of an ever-spreading darkness. My child, what you are doing today, the hidden choices, the quiet sacrifices, the moments when you stand alone against what is wrong, the times you choose silence when pride wants to speak, the steps you take in the light, though no one sees, all of these are sending a resonance into this world that you yourself cannot yet fully hear. The impact of light does not arrive like an explosion, but like water slowly wearing its way through stone. You will not always see results, but that does not mean nothing is happening. I see every smallest movement you make, every time you restrain a negative thought, every time you choose kindness rather than reacting out of instinct, every time you step into the ranks of truth even though it makes you more lonely. You think these things are too small, too insignificant to matter. Yet it is precisely these that are writing the story I want to tell the world through your life. A story that even the hosts of heaven sometimes bow their heads in reverence to because of your quiet but unwavering courage. You are a living witness in this world, the sign I use to remind humanity that even in the heaviest night, the light does not go out. This world has grown used to seeing darkness as inevitable, used to believing that truth is too weak to stand long, used to thinking that what belongs to me is only for those who are too holy or too far away. But you, a person with real weaknesses, real fears, real flaws, have become the strongest testimony to the vitality of my light. For my light shines most powerfully, not through those who are perfect, but through those who are willing to let me touch their cracks and make them glow. You have no idea how much you have already done, but I see it. Every time you choose faithfulness, darkness retreats another step. Every time you refuse what is wrong, truth is raised up a little more. Every time you keep your heart soft before me, my seeds gain another chance to sprout in the souls of others. But to keep that light, you must understand that you cannot simply drift. Being watchful does not mean living in fear. It means keeping a clear mind amidst the countless whispers of this age. I do not want you tense or suspicious in a negative way. I want you to learn to recognize when your heart is being pulled away from what is right. The enemy does not need to shout to lead you astray. He only needs to plant a very small thought in your heart. You deserve more. Why should you be the one to lose out? No one notices your sacrifices anyway, so what are you suffering for? Others live in such comfort, while you must keep struggling. Just these few sentences are enough to make your heart sway. And he knows that if you waver just a little, he will have an opening to step deeper in and push you further away from the light you are holding. He will try to make you believe that all your sacrifices are pointless, that you gain nothing from striving to live rightly, that I am not responding to you as quickly as you hoped. He wants you to look at others and feel you have been shortchanged. He wants you to think you have worked too hard while they live more easily. I understand this because humans are very easily wounded when the feeling of not being recognized seeps in. But my child, do not listen to him. Every word he breathes into you is woven from comparison and fear, not from any real truth. He wants you to forget that light does not need applause, that faithfulness does not need instant praise. What truly shapes who you are is not what the world praises, but the choices you make in the dark, where I alone can see. And it is exactly those choices that are writing your name into the path I planned for you long before you were formed. I beg you, my little one of immeasurable worth, do not let his whispers make you forget the voice with which I am calling you gently every day. You may not yet see the full purpose I have for your life, but I am at work within you in ways that, if I were to show you all at once, you would not be able to bear, so great would it be. I do not let a single moment of your life be wasted. I do not let a single tear you shed fall without meaning. I do not let any of your wounds end up useless. You are being shaped not to become a beautiful version of yourself in the eyes of the world, but to become a soul with true strength, a strength only those who have passed through purification can possess. Believe this with all your heart. The trials you go through are not meant to wear you out, but to open up parts of you that you did not know existed. I am shaping your soul the way a potter shapes every line of a precious clay vessel. Not a single turn of the wheel is meaningless. Not a single touch of my hands is unnecessary. You may feel it is hard, painful, incomprehensible, but from where I stand, everything is being fitted together into a larger, deeper, more complete picture. I am using every circumstance, good and bad, to refine you, to wash away what is no longer needed, to break apart what is holding you back, to make the light within you more pure, more powerful, more profound. You are being prepared for a work that only you can carry, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you are more willing than many. I do not entrust this task to those who refuse to pay a price, who refuse to change, who refuse to step into the fire of purification. I reserve it for you because I see in you something precious, a willingness to be led by me, a softness that allows me to mold you, a patience that keeps you from giving up halfway. Do you wonder why darkness keeps coming back to attack you? Because it knows you do not belong to it, and it fears what you will become when you are fully mature in the light. It fears that the light in you will become strong enough to pull others out of its grip. It fears your faithfulness, because faithfulness cannot be bought, cannot be faked, and cannot be shaken. Stand firm, my child. Trust me. Let me continue to work within you. I am leading you through each layer of trial as a father guiding a child learning to walk. No matter how many times you fall, I still hold you, so you do not hit the ground too hard. There are things you do not yet understand, but the day will come when you look back and see that everything I did was because I love you, because I saw in you something you yourself had forgotten, your worth, your dignity, and your capacity to become light for many. Let me keep leading you, my child. You have come much farther than you think. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not fighting by yourself. You are in my hand, and wherever my hand is, there is hope, there is life, and there is victory, not the victory of this world, but eternal victory. And you will see. Your light will not only shine for you, but also for those who believe they have sunk into darkness with no way out. You will be the one who makes a way for them, not by a loud voice, but by the very faithfulness of your life. You only need to keep walking, and I will complete the rest. My child, let me draw near and speak to you with the softest voice, the gentlest breath that still has the power to reach the deepest place in you, the place where you hide. Your fears, your wounds, and even the longings you don't dare admit to yourself. I know you have lived through moments when you felt the whole world had turned its back on you. I see every time you tremble under the weight of abandonment, under the coldness on the faces of those you once trusted, under the nameless hurts you don't know how to share with anyone. But my child, even if everyone else turns away, I do not, never. I do not merely stand beside you, I incline my heart toward you, so that even if all humanity forgets who you are, I still know with perfect clarity every breath you take, every tear you shed, every thought you tuck away inside. I am not like those who stay only as long as you bring them something. I am not like those relationships that last only when everything is convenient. My presence does not depend on whether you are strong or weak, good or not yet good enough, successful or failing. I am there, unchanging, faithful, like a spring that never runs dry, like a star that never goes out, like a truth that never shifts. And precisely because I remain with you, every step you take is no longer a lost, meaningless step. I do not walk with you from a distance, but from very close, so close that with just a single deep breath, I know you are tired. With just the slightest tremor in your hand, I know what is making you anxious. With just one turning of your head, I am already reaching out, my hand to keep you from falling. I know the road ahead of you is not paved with roses. I know life has never been a simple drawing where you only need to follow the lines already laid out. The path you are walking has stretches that are too dark, too steep, too full of echoes, making you feel as if you are stepping into an endless void. I know there will be times when you feel as though a thick darkness is squeezing the life out of your heart and making you want to give up. I know there will be nights when you just lie still with a heart heavy as stone, wishing that I would pull you out of all the chaos. I know there will be days when you place your hand on your chest and ask yourself, how much longer can I hold on? Am I strong enough to keep going? And my dear one, I want you to know that having those questions does not make you weak. It simply shows me that you are still alive, still fighting, still longing to hold on to what is right in a world so full of distortion. So when you feel the darkness becoming suffocating, do not rush to think that I am no longer there. I never leave you in the very moment you need me most. The darkness does not grow because I have abandoned you. It grows because you are passing through a place where light must be tested, where faith must be trained, where your soul must learn to stand, even when the future is not clear. And it is precisely in that darkness that I am closest to you. Not close in the sense that you see me more clearly, but close in the sense that I hold on to you more tightly, like a father holding the hand of a child crossing a swaying bridge, gripping more firmly when the child trembles, more strongly when the wind rises, and more lovingly still when the child thinks it is about to fall. You often think you have to be strong, to stand tall, to take care of everything, so as not to become a burden to anyone, even to me. But you do not know that I have never asked you to brace yourself like that. I am your strength when you are weak. I am the place where you can rest when you are weary. I am the shoulder you can lean on when there is nowhere else left to fall. You do not need to appear okay with me. You do not need to wear a bravery that you do not truly have. When you are exhausted, I do not tell you to try harder. I tell you to come closer to me. When you no longer have words to pray, I need only a single sigh from you. When you no longer have the strength to hold on to me, it is I who hold on tightly to you. You must understand this. You are tempted not because you are bad, but because you are precious. The enemy attacks you not because you are useless, but because you carry weight in the kingdom of light. It does not mock those who pose no threat to it. It targets those it fears, and you are one of them. But do not be afraid, because when the enemy brings temptation, I give you a strength greater than anything it has. I give you the ability to see through the sweet but empty promises it lays before you. I give you discernment so you can recognize what merely sounds right but does not belong to the truth. I do not remove all temptation from your life, because if I took it all away, you would never grow. Instead, I equip you with something the darkness can never touch, that is the light I have placed within you. That light is not something easily shaken. It does not tremble with every gust of wind. It does not sway every time a harsh word wounds you. It does not disappear when you collapse from fatigue. That light is more persistent than your own will, more steadfast than your determination, more enduring than your fear. For that light does not come from you, it comes from me, the one who never changes, never fails, never runs dry. Engrave this in your heart: you do not walk alone. You do not have to wrestle with the darkness by yourself. You do not have to lift yourself up on your own every time you fall. I am there in every step you take, in every trembling heartbeat, in every tear you thought no one saw. You are never alone in this battle, not for a single second, not for a single moment. And the day will come when you look back and realize that the hardest moments were exactly when I was nearest to you. You will see that it was not when you were strongest that you grew, but when you were weak and still chose to return to me. It was not when you were victorious that you shone the brightest, but when you thought you had lost and still chose to stand on the side of the light. You will understand that not a single tear you shed was wasted. They watered the ground so that a deeper wisdom could take root in your soul. So keep walking, not with perfection, but with trust. Not in your own strength, but in your dependence on me. When you tremble, let me uphold you. When you are tired, let me draw you into my peace. When you do not know what to do next, let me lead the way. I have never left you, and I will never do so. My beloved, there are words I want to carve deeply into your heart, like a father placing his hand over the chest of his trembling child. Do not be afraid. Do not shake before the darkness. Do not be confused by the whispers that try to pull you away from the light. Do not let the turmoil within make you think you are fighting alone. You are not alone. You never have been and never will be. For I, the one who has walked through every darkness, faced every temptation, overcome every deceit, I have conquered the world. And because you belong to me, that victory is not only in my hands. It is placed within your very soul as a sacred inheritance that no power can steal away. You may feel tired, you may stagger, you may have days when you do not know whether you can take another step, but that victory remains in you, whether you feel it or not. This world may choose to walk beneath a sky without light, may keep running after fleeting things dressed in temporary brilliance, but you do not belong to that path. You are called to walk a narrow way that few dare to tread, a path soaked in my light, where every step you take reflects a deeper truth. You do not go on because you are strong. You go on because the light within you is stronger than the darkness around you. You are chosen to live as one who sees what the crowd chooses to ignore, to listen to the call that many try to silence, to hold on to truth when all around is only the noise of illusions. And your walking in the light is not because you are more perfect than others. It is because the light found you, lifted you up, wiped your eyes so you could see clearly what your soul has always known but so easily forgets amid the clamor of life. The enemy will never stop throwing the polished stones of this world in your path. He will use things that dazzle you: pleasure, comfort, easy success, human approval, things he knows the human heart is easily moved by. He will strike at your longing to be loved, to be seen, to be safe, to prove that you have worth. He will spread before you all kinds of freedom, that the world celebrates a freedom without boundaries, without commitment, without loyalty, without sacrifice. He will say that this is true happiness, that this is the way to escape your inner pain, that this is what will finally satisfy you. But my dear one, those things are beautiful only in the first moments, brilliant like fireworks that fade in an instant. And when they burn out, all that remains is emptiness, a hollowness so weary it can cause your heart to lose itself. There is no pleasure on earth that can touch the deepest part of your soul, because your soul was made to long for what is eternal, not what fades away. The joys the world boasts of are only a thin veil covering lack. They cannot bring peace, only restlessness. They cannot bring fullness, only sow a new thirst. They cannot heal, only spread the wound with a pleasant illusion. But I do not give you a delight that explodes in a brief flash. I give you a joy that remains, that can take root, that can illumine your soul from within. I do not give you peace that depends on circumstances. I give you a peace no wind can overturn. I do not lead you into an easy life. I lead you into a life with meaning. The enemy will try to make you believe the opposite. He will touch every weak place in you, on days when you are sluggish, in hours when you doubt yourself, in moments when you are tired of holding your ground against so many opposing forces. He will say that faith makes you weaker, that loyalty only causes you loss, that you are squeezing the joy out of your own life by refusing what the world calls normal. He will whisper until you begin to ask, "Are my sufferings worth it? Do my sacrifices mean anything? Do you really see me?" And my dear one, I know those words can be sharp enough to make your heart ache, but do not let them take root. They never come from me. I am asking you, lean on me. Turn your heart toward me when you feel weak. Let me hold you when you tremble. Let me soothe the weary places in your soul that you do not dare reveal to anyone. Let me show you that your faithfulness is never meaningless, that every step you take is part of a larger picture I am painting with your very life. Do not let distractions, the colorful yet hollow noises, pull you away from the path I have designed uniquely for you. That path is not for everyone, but it is for your soul, for your purpose, for the things I long to do through your life. And, believe this, your light will never grow dim as you pass through trials. On the contrary, it will shine brighter, deeper, stronger. The fire you are facing is not there to consume you, but to refine you, to make you sharper, purer, more steadfast. You are a vessel shaped by my hands. Every crack you once thought was a failure, I turn into a place where light can pour out even more radiantly. Each trial does not weaken you. It makes you more solid so you can hold even more of my love and truth. The fire you walk through is not a fire of destruction. It is a fire of training, a fire that cleanses the dust, a fire that sets you free. And when you step out of that fire, your soul will shine in a way even you could never have imagined. My child, I have overcome the world. That means that darkness, no matter how it threatens, how it roars, how it whispers, cannot touch your soul if you cling to me. My victory has opened the way for your victory. And all that I ask of you is one thing. Do not let go of my hand. My beloved child, do not let your heart tremble when you see the flames rise up around you, for not every fire comes to destroy. There are flames I myself have kindled only to purify, to wash away the residue that time and wounds have allowed to cling to your soul for far too long. When you step into that fire, I know you will feel the heat, feel the discomfort, feel the urge to turn back because you think you cannot bear it. Yet right in that very heat that seems as though it might exhaust you, I am softening the hardened parts within you, peeling away the layers of fear you have hidden so carefully, setting you free from the things you have grown so used to that you have begun to believe they are part of who you are. Do not fear the fire, for it is not my anger toward you. I am fashioning you that you may return to your original form, the form I beheld before you ever entered this world. You will not clearly see the transformation while you remain outside, merely observing. Only when you are willing to step in, to allow me to touch the most sensitive places of your heart, will you see your soul being lifted, being made clear again in a way you have never known. As you persevere through layers of trial, one after another, each one like a difficult lesson you would never have chosen for yourself, you will begin to notice that something different is growing within you. At first you will feel awkward, unsteady, even bewildered by the movements taking place inside your own heart, but little by little, you will find your heart becoming more resilient, more understanding, and gentle in a way it never could be before. Your faith does not grow when you are safe, but when you must walk through what is uncertain, when you must choose to trust me, even when you cannot see what I am doing. Each time you remain standing, even in silence, you have taken one more step into the maturity I have prepared for you. Every time you refuse to give up, even while your heart bleeds, the light within you grows a little stronger, a little brighter, a little wider. And one day you will look back and realize how far you have changed, not because you tried to be strong, but because you allowed me to transform you right in the midst of what seemed determined to bring you to your knees. You will become beautiful in a way no trial can ever destroy, for it is a beauty forged in my fire, a beauty that nothing can extinguish. You are called to be a witness in this world, not in the sense of showmanship or grandeur, but in the sense of a soul living truthfully in a world that has grown too accustomed to falsehood. A witness does not need a loud voice. A witness simply needs to live in fidelity to the light I have kindled within. When you stand firm in faith, when you choose truth even though it costs you, when you guard your heart from bitterness, though the world wants you to burn with resentment, when you choose to love even after you have been wounded, then you are bearing witness to me more than any sermon ever could. Your perseverance, the purity of your intention, the steadfastness of your goodness, these are all rays of light that the world cannot ignore. You do not need to shout that you belong to me. The way you live in the midst of trials will speak for you, more powerfully than any words. The world will try to pull you into its darkness, either with noise or with gentle seduction. At times it will use fear to make you hesitate. At other times it will use flattery to make you lose your way. Sometimes it will stir in you the feeling that following the light is foolish. But I want you to stand firm, not with stubborn pride, but with a heart that understands that the light I have placed in you is stronger than every lie surrounding you. When the cold winds of the world blow upon you, you may tremble but do not fall. When doubt arises, you may sigh but do not turn back. When fear swells like a wave, you may pause for a moment but do not leave the path I have set before you. Each time you stand firm before what has caused many others to fall, darkness shudders, because it knows it cannot sway you as it has swayed so many other souls. And I am always there, standing behind you, supporting you in a way the world will never comprehend. The light within you is not only a weapon for your own defense, it is also a lamp by which many others will find their way home. You think your light is only enough for your own steps, but in truth, it reaches farther than you realize. There are people walking in the deepest night, their eyes weary from searching for even a single small ray of light to cling to. There are souls who have touched the bottom of despair, no longer believing that anything true still exists in this world. There are those exhausted from being deceived for so long, who only hope to see even one person living truthfully so that they can still dare to hope. These people you do not know by face or by name, yet they are watching you. They watch how you walk through trials, how you guard the purity of your heart, how you choose what is good when what is wrong would be so much easier. They will never tell you, but your light has kept them from collapsing in their darkest moments. So do not make light of what I have placed within you. Do not think your light is too small. Do not think your faithfulness has little worth. A single small lamp is enough to drive away the darkness in a room. A single faithful soul is enough to open a way for those who do not yet realize they are drowning in the night. You do not live only for yourself. and you do not persevere merely to overcome your own trials. You are guarding the light not only for yourself, but for those who are still waiting for a sign that the way home is still there. They cannot see me, but they can see my light in you. They cannot hear my voice, but they hear my truth in the way you live. And sometimes your very presence will be the strongest invitation drawing them back to me. My beloved child, let my words sink deep into your soul, like a warm stream slowly soaking into places that have long been dry and weary. You are the salt of the earth, not to dissolve and disappear, but to preserve what is pure in this world, to keep corruption from spreading, to bring the flavor of life into places that seem already decayed. You are the light of the world, not a random spark that flares up and quickly dies, but a light I have lit within you deliberately, a light destined to stand in the darkest of times and still shine. I have placed you in this very moment, not earlier and not later, because this very age needs the particular light that only you can carry. I have not sent you into a place already safe. I have sent you into a space where truth needs guardians, where hope needs someone to nurture it, where love needs someone to bear it. You have been brought here as my answer to what the world is lacking. Therefore be strong, my little child, and do not let evil make you shrink back. Your strength is not a hardened exterior, but an inner steadfastness born of your trust in me. When you walk by faith and not by feelings, the light within you will grow clearer, deeper, and stronger. Darkness cannot attack openly, so it will try to invite you with temptations dressed as peace. Just rest a little, just compromise a little. It won't matter. Everyone does it anyway, but you must stand firm. You do not keep the light within you by your own strength, but by clinging to me, trusting me, believing that I am leading you on the right path even when you cannot yet see the destination. Do not forget, with each step you take in faithfulness, that light increases within you. You are not alone, my child. I am not only near you, I am in each breath, each thought, each most delicate movement within your heart. I never leave you, never abandon you halfway, never grow weary of your weaknesses. You may doubt yourself, but I have never doubted you. You may feel you are not enough, yet I see you as exactly the one I have chosen for this time. You may think you are too small, but I have never misplaced you in the position where you stand. I am here, always here, and when you lose your way, I am the voice that calls you back. When you tremble, I am the peace that wraps around you. When you are weak, I am the strength rising from places you did not know existed. Hold fast to the truth, my child, for my truth does not change with the seasons, does not fade with the years, does not grow dim beneath the storms of life. When you cling to the truth, you are fastening yourself to something that rises above every chaos of this world. I will carry you through every darkness, not by force or compulsion, but by love, a love that does not use power to drive you forward, but uses gentleness to lift you up. My light triumphs not because it shouts, but because it endures, not because it crushes, but because it heals, not because it terrifies the enemy, but because wherever it is present, it dissolves all darkness. I am your Father in heaven, a Father not distant, not stern in a way that makes you hide, but the one who looks upon you with eyes full of mercy, who enfolds you in arms that never grow tired, who holds you as a treasure I cherish. Remain in my blessing, for there you are safe, sheltered, nourished, and healed. When you dwell in my love, nothing can strip away the light you carry. No power can rob you of your worth, and no evil has enough strength to make you flee in fear. You belong to me, and that will never change. Now, as your heart grows quiet amid so many upheavals, lift your soul with me, and let every word rising from your depths become a fragrant offering pleasing to me. Loving Father, you who always run toward me even before I can call out, please come and touch the parts of me that are surrounded by weariness. There are things in this world that leave me confused. There are days when it seems as though the light within me is fading, but today I ask you to breathe again upon the flame I thought had grown weak. Please loosen from me the fears, comparisons, and inferiority that make me forget I was created to shine. Grant me a heart that is strong yet gentle, able to stand firm before the lies of the enemy and still keep compassion for the frailty of humanity. Place me where you desire and use my life as a sign so that whoever looks at me may see your love and your power living and active in this world. Almighty God, you who see both the light and the darkness moving within the human heart, today I come before your face with trembling hands, yet a heart that longs for a deep assurance. Please guide me past the whispers of the evil one, whispers soft as silk yet sharp as a sword, so that my heart is not drawn away from your ways. Pour out upon me the wisdom to discern what is true light and what is only a false glare meant to blind me. Guard the flame you have placed in my soul, that it may not merely survive, but burn bright enough for me to stand firm before every layer of darkness creeping into this world. Father, help me to walk not in my own strength, but in your strength within me, so that every breath, every choice, every action of mine may become a proclamation that I belong to the light of your presence. O great Creator, source of all goodness and truth, I kneel before you with gratitude and with all the frailty I cannot hide. I ask that you purify me from the dust of this world that is clouding my sight, so that I may clearly see the path you have set before me. Please cleanse my mind of the subtle lies that darkness uses to make me doubt my own worth. Open my ears to hear your voice amid the countless noisy sounds, and open my eyes to discern what is truly your word and what is a misleading call. Use me as an instrument of peace, so that everywhere I go there may remain a trace of the light you have placed within my heart. O Father, source of life, I bow my head in thanksgiving, for every breath I still have today is a gift from you. I thank you for not allowing the light within me to be extinguished by wounds or by the small deceits woven into my everyday life. I thank you for leading me through the dark places I thought I could never pass through, so that today I can stand here with a steadier heart and eyes that recognize you more clearly. I know that I am loved, not because of what I do, but because you are infinite mercy. Grant that I may continue to live in gratitude, so that every act of faithfulness in me may become a quiet song of praise rising to you. O Lord of boundless love, I give you thanks for every time you helped me rise when I thought I had fallen beyond all strength. I thank you for turning the cracks within me into places where your light can pour through more powerfully. I thank you for not letting me sink into hopeless loneliness, but for always sending small signs to let me know that you are still right beside me. I thank you, Father, for choosing me, in spite of all my shortcomings and weaknesses, to be a bearer of light in this world. Please receive my gratitude, and let this thankful heart guide each step I take. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so that together we can build a strong and flourishing community of faith.